With the early release of 2 levels of Halo Campaign Evolved to certain Halo YouTubers, we are seeing brand new footage of the Flood in a Halo game for the first time in 9 years, or 19 years if we're only looking at the FPS games. And confusingly, one of the Flood forms we've seen in this early footage from Campaign Evolved is a form that lore-wise shouldn't actually exist yet. Of course, I'm referring to what appears to be a Flood pure form, specifically in its tank shape. First seen in Halo 3, pure forms are created by the Flood after they have reached the coordinated stage, the second stage of a Flood outbreak after the initial feral stage. The coordinated stage is achieved by the Flood creating a grave mind and gaining the ability to create Flood supercells once they have attained enough biomass. And it is from this raw biomass that pure forms are, well, formed. But if a grave mind and enough biomass are needed to create pure forms, how then can they be on Installation 04, the Halo ring on which Campaign Evolved is set? Just before we carry on, if you haven't already, it would be great if you gave this video a like, and if you would like to see more videos from me, then be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much. From what we know, no grave mind was ever created on Alpha Halo during the course of the first game. The closest the Flood ever got was the creation of a proto grave mind on the Truth and Reconciliation, which Captain Keyes was horrifically absorbed into as seen in the knife mission aptly named Keyes. So no grave mind, no coordinated stage, and on top of that, I don't think with the small number of humans and Covenant on the ring, the Flood would have even had enough biomass to the point they could start spontaneously creating Flood supercells. But despite all this, we have seen from the pre-release gameplay footage that there are pure forms on this Halo ring. So how is this possible? The most popular theory is that these pure forms are released or escaped test subjects the Forerunners chose to study from their war with the Flood about 100,000 years ago. In the Halo 3 multiplayer map called Storage, which is set in a Flood research facility, we can find a pure form in its tank shape contained in a tank of fluid for observation and study. And whilst Cold Storage is set on Installation 05, aka Delta Halo, aka the ring from Halo 2, rather than on Installation 04, the Forerunners had Flood research facilities on all the Halo rings, so it isn't a stretch to believe that pure forms had also been preserved for study on Alpha Halo. While this is a good theory and a good explanation as to how there can be pure forms on Installation 04, with the Flood only ever being in the feral stage, I do have some problems with it. If the pure forms we see on Alpha Halo are test subjects from the Forerunner Flood War, then how did they escape their imprisonments? Were they accidentally released by humans or Covenant along with the infection forms, which then led to the creation of human and elite combat and carrier forms? Because during the feral stage, I don't know if the Flood have enough intelligence to think about freeing their trapped comrades, let alone know how to if they can't break them out using brute force. And even if the pure forms were either released or freed, I would have to imagine that there would be a finite number of them. I can't imagine the Forerunners would need to store dozens upon dozens of pure forms in a single research facility. And with no grave mind and not enough biomass, more pure forms wouldn't be able to be made to replace those killed by humans, Covenant, and Sentinels. So unless they change the law, I imagine the pure forms will appear in Campaign Evolved as a one and done surprise, like maybe as a final boss wave in a level the library. That is, if these tank forms we've seen in pre-release gameplay are in fact pure forms, because maybe they're not. My theory is that despite these Flood looking like the tank shape of pure forms, they are not in fact pure forms. They just share the same tank shape. That's all. Now, why do I think this? Well, for one, in all the pre-release gameplay footage we've seen, they never change into the Stalker or ranged shapes. We only see them as the tank shape. This could be due to the gameplay only coming from pre-release builds, which may not have included the Stalker or range shapes for the pure form, or it could be an indication that these tank forms can't change shape at all. The only ability they appear to share with a pure form tank shape is that they can spew infection forms from their mouths, and that's it. So rather than them being created from Flood biomass, what if they're just the result of a combat form and a carrier form being merged together? That would explain their larger size than combat forms, how they can generate infection forms like the carrier form, and why they can't transform. I also feel if this is the case, then that would allow us to face many more of these tank forms across other levels which featured the Flood than lore would permit if instead they were in fact escaped pure forms, where there should really only be a finite number. In any case, no matter which theory is true, I'm super excited to play Halo Campaign Evolved. I've been a fan of Halo since my sister introduced me to the first game as a kid. The Flood absolutely terrified me back then, and I can't wait to face off against them for the first time again in 9/19 years. Thank you all everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the video, and I hope you did, give it a like to let me know. And if you want to see more, then make sure to subscribe. Thank you all so much again for watching. I've been Triple S, you've all been amazing, and I shall see you all in the next video.